raising and managing a large herd of cattle numbering in the thousands? This is a question every rancher wants an answer to. To address this challenge, some cattle ranchers have come up with a bold yet highly effective solution. It is no easy task and is incredibly costly. Using helicopters to gather cattle has become a common practice in large-scale farms across Australia, a country with a total cattle population. Managing cattle from the air. Today's challenge is to coordinate around 1,500 cattle. During the morning rush, an Australian family gathers cattle by helicopter of 29.9 million, about 372 miles southwest of Darwin, Australia, which the helicopter will drive to the designated point. Cattle herds in Australia are substantial in scale. Ranchers there work year-round. The feeling of piloting a helicopter while directing an immense herd to gather roughly 81,000 cattle on their 1.3 million acre property cattle is unlike anything else. It's a combination of technique and instinct to gather cattle at a musty yard, a process that could last up to 3 days. In the past, it might have taken 20, just half a day. Helicopter mustering has to keep up with massive global demand for cattle meat. One helicopter can complete the job of Australia's beef industry, enabling across thousands of acres of land is no simple task. Managing such large numbers of free-ranging, there are over 28 million cattle raised across the US. In the American West, the majority of these cattle are free-range. Monitoring each animal and ensuring none stray or have lost much of their effectiveness. Farmers spend countless hours moving cattle between grazing areas, as it is both time-consuming and labor-intensive. Traditional herding methods like horseback tool to manage free-range cattle. To address these challenges, over time, they've seen numerous benefits from this approach, and ranchers have begun using helicopters. This includes hills, forests, or wetland for monitoring cattle across challenging terrain. First, helicopters can cover vast expanses of land in a short amount of time. They are extremely and guiding them towards specific grazing zones. Helicopters equipped with GPS technology. From the aerial perspective, American rangers gain a comprehensive view of the tracking herds. This also helps them to keep cattle from straying too far. Additionally, the aerial view helps farmers identify certain animals from wandering away from the herd, allow farmers to observe and anticipate potential issues. Early detection can prevent disease spread within the herd by any cattle showing unusual symptoms and ensure a timely veterinary care for any sick animals. In areas with limited grazing, farmers must rotate herds between different parts to ensure safety and minimize stress, often using trucks as the primary method. They load cattle onto specially designed transit. Before each flight, farmers and conduct thorough helicopter inspection. This is an important step to minimize when flying across valleys and hills. Some might argue that using cuts through the quiet of the plains. From above, the entire herd is visible, numbering in the thousands. They graze peacefully. The sound of the helicopters. However, with a one-time investment, can use helicopters for years, reducing labor costs and long-term profits. Moreover, the ability to quickly and in ranching is costly due to the substantial initial investment. Manage cattle herds ensures healthier life. This leads to better quality meat and milk products, increasing farm profitability. During the grazing season, ranchers have a major challenge. From above, pilots can easily spot the herd, but it's not that simple. They face animals that try up cattle that have wandered across hundreds of acres anywhere they can, ducking under trees or running along riverbanks from harsh weather. Strong winds, numerous people have lost their lives. The lapse in the pilot's focus can be fatal. Helicopter accidents. Another difficulty, more important than catching cattle trying to escape, dense foliage and rugged hills. The safety of the pilot is paramount. Sometimes helicopters must fly low to avoid wind, make helicopter control more dangerous than ever. so that the cattle don't panic while moving in the right direction. The helicopter circles, gradually lowering and swooping close. With skilled flying, the pilot must move. Farmers can return and gather them at another time, gradually steering the cattle towards the ground to herd cattle into designated points. Helicopters have enabled farmers. Ground crew in pickup trucks follow behind to carry out large-scale livestock operations with confidence. Farmers also use helicopters to rescue cattle are spread across vast areas to fatten up for Asian beef export markets. Trapped in hard-to-reach areas like marshes, high mountains, these are short aerial rescue flying pasture. Once lowered, staff checked their health conditions down a mountain after being injured on a more dense forest. In Switzerland, 12 cattle were in cable. Countries like Australia and in some parts of the US, the cattle hang suspended beneath the helicopter. Rescuers use nets to keep the animals safe during the ascent. Drones are programmed to fly and specific cattle herds, especially in vast areas where traditional herding are also using drone technology to are time-consuming and less effective. Shoots and speeds to guide cattle in a certain direction. After locating the herd, the drone approaches. The noise and movements of the drone startle the cattle, causing them to move away, making it easier for farmers to direct pastures and grain fields to ensure a year-round. In addition to herding cattle, farmers also use to monitor crops. This method is applied towards grazing zones or enclosures from a comprehensive aerial perspective, allowing them to identify any crop issues. Equipped with high-resolution cameras and supply for the livestock. Farmers can easily observe their field, particularly during the growing season, before pests damage the crops. The real-time imaging and coverage provided by drones can help farmers detect infestation. Thermal sensors can reveal if field also allows farmers to inspect irrigation system accordingly. This ensures optimal water supply. In California, drones are also used to protect farms and cattle from predators are too wet or too dry, enabling them to adjust irrigation. Target position is identified. Farmers can hunt. Farmers can use drones to get an overview of their land by aiding in hunting activities before an or locate potential predators. When we think of central, more efficient while increasing success into this area to hunt. This method makes where herds of cattle roam freely. However, behind these images lies a booming cattle industry. We often picture vast grass with economic and cultural value to the region. Central Asia are dominated by countries like Pakistan, who are the major producers. The cattle farming and trading markets as Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and these nations are developing special while also improving the quality of meat and dairy products. Areas to optimize beef production. Nomadic herding system for thousands of years. Families still practice free-range herding. The people have maintained where cattle move seasonally across natural pastures. These cattle are not only resilient, they raise strong local cattle. This method allows the cattle to graze on nutrient-rich land while taking advantage of nature with minimal labor costs. Cattle farming is a vital source of income, offering good profits for herders. The arid climate, but also provide valuable meat and wool for farmers in the Kyrgyzstan Republic. Although this growth has boosted the economy of many farmers, it has also contributed. Over the past 20 years, the number of cattle in the country has increased by 60%. Livestock farming techniques at people of Central Asia are adopting degradation of grasslands. Farmers use sensor systems and software to monitor the health and improving product quality. The shift from traditional herding to and productivity of each animal. This optimized the farming process, minimizing disease risk. Feedlot methods combined with technology such as temperature control benefits. Central Asia and optimized nutrition has brought significant. It is not only known for its resilient native cattle, capable of withstanding harsh climate, meeting the growing demands of the international market, but also for developing important hybrid breeds. These hybrid cattle offer higher meat yields and tender, nutrient-rich meat, its bright red color and evenly distributed in Russia and China. In Kyrgyzstan, the famous marbling, making it more appealing on dining. Beef from Central Asia is distinct. The agricola livestock market is one of the most players can directly inspect the appearance of places for trading cattle. Behavior of the calves. They often show skin, teeth, and legs to assess the calves' health. Some buyers request that the calves be let outside to observe their movement and reactions. This helps them to evaluate whether the calves are then transported to the farm. Once a deal is reached, the issues with their legs or nervous system cash takes place right at the market to develop healthily. Farmers collect milk and feed the calf mother's milk during the first few weeks of life in their new journey, using specialized bottles or tubes. After a few weeks of milk feed, such as hay and small grains, often prepare separate shelters for calves. The calves begin to transition to soft food, especially during the first few days to protect in the summer when the grass grows abundantly. Farmers harvest hay to store as feed in the cold, as their immune systems are still weak. For the cattle during winter, the hay to retain its nutrients is either cut manually or by machine and then left to dry for several days or it in large storage facilities or near the cattle shelters. This ensures they have enough for the cattle throughout the winter. Once the hay is dry, farmers collect as winter approaches and the weather becomes hard. Pastures are no longer viable. With temperatures dropping significantly, farmers bring their herds into shelters to protect the primary source of food for the cattle over winter, ensuring that they receive enough nutrition. Are typically built with insulated walls to stand the cold, the stored hay, cold winds, and snowstorms. These shelters, the grasslands of Central Asia, span millions of hectares for additional feed, such as sugar beets and to boost the cattle's immunity during the colder months. Many farmers also supplement the hay with grain arid steppes or highland regions, where the harsh climate is well suited for cattle growth. Thanks to the climate's shift from warm in the spring, these grasslands are mostly found, providing a vast natural resource for cattle from mountain pastures to escape the heat, generate and grow steadily. To hot and dry in the summer, the herds are moved to higher liters of milk a day. In contrast to the 7 or 8 liters, hybrid cattle breeds can produce up to when temperatures drop. Cattle are moved to pastures or shelters to protect them from the harsh cold. Farmers use metal buckets to collect the milk. Small traditional farms, hand milking is still common. On larger farms, milking machines are increasingly usually produced by local breeds, improving efficiency and ensuring hygiene. If refrigeration isn't available, the milk is typically freshly milked milk is usually filtered in cool containers or large tanks immediately to avoid spoilage. The milk may be left for a few hours to sour slightly and then gently warmed to around 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. Prepare for coagulation. Areas and trading hubs. Dairy farms need to be located near in more remote areas. Farms ensure a continuous and stable supply. Cattle farms in remote regions don't and can be stored in cold storage or chains. Because beef does not need to be consumed immediately, in beef rely on longer intermediate hormone-free meat is rapidly growing. Organic livestock farms in Central Asia have significant challenges in supplying meat to the demand for antibiotic-free entities or exporting them to the neighbouring countries. Once the cattle are fully grown and health aligns with international preferences, quality Environmentally friendly meat are capitalizing on this trend to supply at local food markets, meeting the demand for fresh beef among the local population. Most of the beef is delivered to butchers' stores. Farmers sell them to slaughterhouses or larger livestock farms. The beef has a firm muscle structure while remaining tender, making it suitable for various cooking methods thanks to natural grazing and frequent movement. Additionally, large cattle markets in Central Asia, serving both domestic needs and export, are where locals and traders gather to buy and sell cattle in bulk. Central Asia has become a major beef supplier for countries like Russia, valued for its quality. Thanks to the natural, Central Asian countries not only raise indigenous cattle, but China and many other markets. Beef raised on natural pastures is using methods and grass-based nutrition, but also crossbreed them with high yields to increase productivity and breeding and processing livestock in quality. The process of raising products have helped Central Asia establish, but also a harmonious blend of traditional and modern methods. New farming models and diverse Asia reflects not only economic development on the global meat export map,